Hey Mike, how you doing?
I'm good, Daryl. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Stand by.
You are traveling through another dimension, a dimension not only of sight and sound, but of mind. A journey into a wondrous land whose boundaries are that of imagination. Your next stop is Off the Cuff Paranormal. Join us every Friday at 8 p.m. on the NPI YouTube channel.
And we're back. All right,
I'm in a box.
Kay says there's no video. Okay, is there video now? We had the video shut off, Kay. So, I did that deliberately. You should be able to see the video though. We got multiple people watching, so hopefully everybody can see the video. There you are. Yeah, we were hiding. We hide right off the bat, Kay. So glad to be back. It's been a whole whopping what? 2 missed shows. I can't see what I'm doing without my glasses. This is terrible. Actually, I wear my glasses. I take them off. I'm like, wow, where'd Mike go?
I'm still here.
Oh yeah, but okay, that was scary. No. Yeah, so it was I can say I had a lot of fun on my vacation, folks. Went down to Mexico, the Mayan Riviera. Didn't see anything spooky, mind you. I mean, I would say maybe some of the people wearing things they shouldn't be wearing were kind of spooky, but other than that, it was pretty good. It was 30 degrees plus every single day, so it was a lot of fun. But glad to be back. All right, so not sure who we have all watching. We had 3. We're down to 2. I know Kay's here. So I guess what is tonight's episode all about now, Mike?
All right, so tonight's episode came to us from Amy, who is down in Mexico. I know, right? Imagine that. Why is everybody from MPI going down to Mexico? That must be investigated, I think. There's something going on, because I'm not in Mexico. There's something going on. I don't know. Cue the X-Files music.
Maybe we all have to go down and do the haunted dolls. I think Kay was mentioning doing the island of the haunted dolls.
That would be fun, because dolls creep me out. If you want to see me actually legitimately creeped out, I'd do that.
Oh, we'll just stick you in the middle of the island and leave you for a few hours.
You want to see me scream like a little girl?
It'd be like, what the heck is screaming out there in that freaking forest? Well, you know what? You know what was creepy while I was down there, though, Mike? So when we went, and we'll get to our topic in a minute. When I went, we had the opportunity to go and swim in 2 different cenotes. So if you don't know what a cenote is, it's basically like a rock formation or an underground cave formation that is filled with fresh water. In the past, the Mexicans that were living in the areas that they didn't have fresh water, that's where they got the fresh water from. And as we're walking toward this one cenote, beautiful swimming, great place to go. But they have these trees, and they tell you when you walk past, don't touch the trees. Well, why not? Well, besides possibly seeing the odd tarantula or something like that, some of them are actually poisonous, the bark. I'm like, oh, so you mean like the one with the sign on it that says "Don't touch poisonous trees"? He's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, we'll just stay away from those trees. Yeah, little creepy, but all in all, it was a lot of fun. So,
So I take it you didn't touch one of the poisonous trees because you're with us tonight.
am I not quite pale enough?
Maybe you did. Are you really there? I'm gonna poke you.
Ow! Ow! Ow!
And Kay's watching, going, and it goes off the rails early.
Okay, so back to our topics, Mike. Where did we stand?
Okay, so as I was saying, this one came from Amy. She suggested doing a show about how dangerous the ghost hunting field is, and gave a lot of examples for us to touch on. Rather than read them all out, I think we should just touch on them one by one.
If I can remember them all.
Well, luckily for me, I have them all saved right here. So, right? Because, I try to be as prepared as I can for our show. Like I'm charging everything and all that. I thought I had my tablet plugged in for a long time, which was apparently too long because then it stops charging after a certain amount of time. So, yeah, so it's like 16% battery. So that's what I normally do the show on. So I'm doing the show on my phone and it's plugged into my son's computer. So hopefully it lasts.
I should have actually had my laptop here, but my laptop's dead. So I'm like, uh-oh.
Burp, burp. Okay, so the first one is team trust.
That is a good one, and it is an important one. But I mean, I guess it depends on what aspect are you looking at. I mean, are you looking at it as a general aspect or specific aspects of that whole general line?
She left it up to interpretation, obviously, but I'm thinking along the lines of, you have to trust your fellow investigators. You are going to be in a dark room with them. You can't see what's being done necessarily. I mean, it's not always pitch black, but it's dark. You also trust your teammates to not put you into a situation where you're going to be uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably the most important one to me, right? Like we want to push the boundary sometimes, but we don't want to cross the line. And I think we have to trust in each other that we're not going to do that. And if we, are vocal about it, about our intentions, and then, if we think we're going to go a little bit too far, maybe just stop and just say, hey, do you guys mind if I do this? Right? That's the whole trust thing, right? Like you don't just kind of go off on a tangent without even explaining why you're doing it or if everyone is okay with it.
True, but at the same time, if your team has been together long enough and they have that connection, you can usually figure out pretty quickly when people do. I mean, I've experienced it where, I've seen, I guess one of the biggest things for me is I've seen people, go off on something that you just wouldn't normally expect. Like you kind of like look and go, huh? But at the same token, I know them well enough that I'm like, okay, if they're doing this for a reason, right? And I have enough faith that, the people that are doing that know that, okay, they're doing this for a reason why. I'll figure this out eventually or they'll tell me, right?
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing is spotting in your teammates oddities that come up. So if somebody's not acting right, if something is amiss with, or the person's being affected in a specific way, it's good to have people that are able to see that, spot that, and know that it's absolutely out of the ordinary, right? And pick up on it enough to say, okay, something's got to, we got to stop this, or like you said, get this kind of sorted out. So there's nothing that, because people, people get affected by the paranormal all the time in a lot of different ways. So it's nice to know that. But yes, absolutely, I think I agree with you. The trust in your teammates as to what they're going to do, when they're going to do it, how they're going to do it. Exactly, you nailed it. It's got to be there, and but at the same time, they have to have the trust in the people running the show, that whoever's being the lead investigator at the time, that they're going to exactly do the right thing, right? At least to the best of our abilities. But having everybody, that being said, everybody has to be able to say, hey, no, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Right.
You have to have the trust in your team that they're going to step up and say something too, right? Like it's not only your own well-being, but it's just a trust in your team that everyone is going to be a cohesive unit
and bring up any issues that do come up.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Because I think I told you the same thing. I mean, somebody on MPI has an issue, come to me, right? I'm going to listen to it. I'm going to give my opinion on it, and we'll work everything all out, right? But that's what we do. That's what everybody does. Everybody should do.
Yeah, and that just comes down to the safety thing too, right? Like you are all trying to do something in the most safe manner that we can, but we know that what we're doing can be seen unsafe in a way. So it's good to have that backup.
Exactly. And by the way, hello thespians 1 and 2.
Yeah, who could that be?
Somebody way down Chilliwack way.
Oh yeah, I always call it when you get out past like in between Abbotsford and Chilliwack, you get this smell, and I always call it Ode to Chilliwack.
Well, they're actually past Chilliwack, so maybe they're that Ode to Chilliwack. I've never run into that, Mike. Well, okay, I can't say I haven't. I mean, I guess it depends on where the cows are at the right time.
Which way the wind's blowing.
That's right. They're down farther than that, a little bit farther than that.
Yeah, okay. They're a little far out there. You're right.
She's gonna beat on you next time she sees you, Mike.
Oh, they know. They're. It's all good. It's all good. Yeah.
I like that.
We have an understanding. I'm writing a note here. I got to talk to them about this. Sorry, I didn't mean it.
Far out, man. Oh my lord. Okay, so we have tests.
Right. Okay, so the next one, and this doesn't have to do with the team, but it's just something that comes up when you are even dealing with a client, right? Maybe to the team a little bit too, but more the mental health issue.
Oh, now are you're talking like just like more to the client side of things?
More to the client side of things, because I think when it comes to the team, we're all kind of far out there. No, I mean we all have different levels of our capabilities and mindsets and all that. But I'm not going to say that we all have mental health issues or anything. Well, so no. Some people would say we do, but
well, no, that is true. But I do have an incident to share. And this happened in a residential in North Vancouver. And when we got into this residential, there was one area in one room that had people really, really affected. The whole place had people affected. At one point in time, all the women, and I think there was 3 of them there, including our dear friend Nikki, and I think it was Lisa, and I think Connie was there, I'm not sure. They were just like literally pretending to be dinosaurs, like that kind of thing. And it was just like it it was like they were very much almost in a manic state, right? And it was really weird because they were all like that, not just one, but all, and it was really bizarre. Yet at the same time, I was there, and I can't remember. I think it was me and Steve Davey at the time. There might have been one other, I don't remember. But all we wanted to do was kill them. Like we were angry, we were frustrated, and it was like complete opposites where we were kind of feeling depressed and anxiety and all that kind of stuff. They were happy-go-lucky. The whole place found out later that the person that lived there was a manic depressive. So, I mean, can it affect people like that? Hey, we're kind of living proof that yes, we think it can. So it can happen to teammates. It can. But that again comes down to, do you know them well enough to spot it? And when we left and came back, we were better, right? So it was just an oddity. Clients. Yeah. That's a tough one.
Yeah, because when it comes to clients, we're dealing with people that we've never met before, right? You don't know their history. You don't know, I mean, in most cases anyways, you don't know anything really about them. You're hearing their story, you're hearing their claims, you're hearing what they have to tell you, but do you know them? I mean, you don't really know what's going on.
Well, that's the thing. And I mean, I have asked clients. I mean, I do. If I go in and meet them, I have asked clients. If I feel there might be something there, I do say, hey, I don't care what medication they're on, but I do ask, is there anybody that's dealing with any instability issues or mental issues that we have to be aware of? And people consider mental issues along various different lines because there's different formats of it, right? Different things of it. And yes, we've dealt with people like that. I do ask about all kinds of different things that way, but that is one of the things I do ask. And it's nice to know because you never know. It gives you an idea of when you hear the tales, you hear experiences, you hear what people are talking and they're experiencing. You can go back and say, okay, but now we have this factor involved. Who's the one being affected the most, right? And you have to kind of look at that. It's that plus a whole lot more that you have to work out when dealing with the client to figure out, how you're going to approach it and what you're going to do or say beyond that point. But I think I think that as people going into a place, that from my point of view, we always have the right to ask. They don't have to tell us. But if you don't, you're just negating a factor in something that could help explain events. And if we don't know about it, then you could be getting theories on events that aren't absolutely correct.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, no, I agree with you completely. I think it's not offside to ask someone about that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's no different than saying, "Are you sick?" Like, do you have the flu? Right. It's a health issue, and it's also for us, it's a big safety issue.
Well, yes. I mean, I've actually walked away from a client because of that.
Yeah.
Partially because of that and other reasons involved, but that was one of the reasons. And we had to walk away. And it was more just the better part of valor. But then again, I went to the whole team and said, hey, this is what's happening. And they all went, yeah, no, we're walking away from this. Okay, yeah, that's fair enough. So it does happen. It does happen.
I've been on investigations where same thing. There was definitely something going on, but we couldn't put our finger on it. We're not experts in the field. And we basically called the investigation. We're like, we got to go. right? Like we didn't want to make them. We knew that there was something going on mental health wise, but we didn't want to accuse them of it. Like we just were kind of like we were very polite about it, and we just kind of
Oh
like,
yeah.
We're gonna call it a night. Like we just something came up. I think is what the excuse was. Like, I think I said something along the lines is I got a text, I got to go home. Like,
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's yeah. I can understand that, and sometimes the decision has to be made, but we always hope that it's that things can be explained and we can work on things and work with that or with whatever happens to be the issue, right? But
yeah,
sometimes you just got to walk away. So
yeah, and I don't think there's any shame in doing that. We don't necessarily have to tell our client. I mean, and this for the most part, I think is only going to happen where it's a residential case. I don't think it's ever happened where it's been a historical location or a business per se. But unless you have any.
no, I think the only no business. No, we've had one weird business thing, but it wasn't mental. Might have driven us mental, but it wasn't mental. Oh yeah.
Drove us there, man. I'm like the mayor of Mentalville.
Mr. Gummy, 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 Gummy. All right. Next.
Okay. We got Team Trust. We got mental illness.
Hang on. This popped up.
I suggest a safe word or phrase if anyone is uncomfortable or there is a danger that you don't want to say in front of them. Use the safe word. Yeah, that's a great idea, Kay. Absolutely. I think you have to choose a word that's probably going to be, applicable to the situation, but one that's not going to make sense to the client. Like you don't want to choose a word like
help.
yeah, help.
No, but I agree, Kay. I agree. That is a plausible one that you can use. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think a great way to. I don't want to, I think a great way to put it out there would be like, if you're conducting an EVP session and you say something along the lines of like, can you say the word purple? But that's the keyword, right? And then the other people that are with you kind of go, okay, we need to wrap this up. Like he just said it. Something like that. So it seems like it's still part of the investigation, but the team all knows exactly what's going on.
Yeah, well, you see what Kay just wrote.
Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice.
I'm not saying it through. He can't resist. Go ahead, Mike. You know you want to say it.
Looking for a country that starts with B.
Oh my God.
Okay. And the next one on the list that she has for us, angry spirits, and I don't think she means like tequila or vodka. Although maybe she does. I don't know. It's Amy we're talking about here.
That could make somebody angry. I don't know.
Stay away from the tequila.
Oh my God, angry spirits. I've been in investigations where I have felt angry. Like I have said to the other investigators, I've said, guys, I don't know why I'm feeling this, but I'm feeling angry, frustrated, like I want to lash out, like we did at that one investigation I just told you about. Mm-hmm. It happens, but to actually run into an angry spirit, I don't believe I can actually say in all good conscience that I've actually run into that. I mean, not at least that I can actually physically say, or whatever, say, prove that, yeah, this spirit was angry. I mean, as a sensitive, I get a feeling that maybe he is, or she is, or it is, but can I actually prove it? Not necessarily. I mean, we have been told to off, get out, and multiple other things, but is that because of angry, or is it just somebody that says they've had enough and they're frustrated? I don't know.
Yeah, I can't say that I have either. Off the top of my head, I mean, I was trying to think of this today, and even yesterday when we agreed on this show topic. I can't think of anything like you said, like nothing that backs it up. Anyways, there's no definitive proof besides what you said. Swear words, or words that are kind of, even ones that come through the spirit box at us that kind of aren't so nice sounding, to put it nicely. But is that proof? I don't think so. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, it's weird because you see all of these shows on TV, and there's always these spirits that are angry and upset and vengeful, and want to lift you off your bed, spin you 360, and shove a cork where it shouldn't go. I mean, I'm like, I mean, you watch all these shows all the time, and that's what you get. On and on and on, and I'm like, where are they finding all these things? I mean. I mean, are we just?
Yeah, it doesn't add up from our perspective. It doesn't add up.
Well, no. Now, maybe is it just that we're in a really nice part of Canada or something?
Well, that's just it. We're Canadian spirits. We're all really nice. We all say sorry, eh? We have to go to some more angry parts of the world.
Well, it's like. Well, just go down across the border. There you go.
You said it, not me.
Kay said, no, just had feelings, nothing tangible, nothing thrown at us in violence. Oh, well, now, wait a minute. Now that she said that, I have had a rock thrown at me, but it wasn't thrown directly at me. And as Kay said, I know that some of our people have been scratched. Kay just said the same thing. I know that people people have had slaps and stuff, but again, is it in anger, or is it just trying to get something across?
Yeah, that's a tough one, because I mean, for me, I mean, I've been doing this 6 years now. I've never been scratched. I've never been. I wouldn't say. I'm going to say I've never been attacked. Now, I've been touched, but I've never been attacked.
Well, you've been touched, all right.
Yes. And was that one an angry person? I don't know. I don't want to know. Well, maybe I do want to know. But point being, I mean, I'm not going to say anything was without a shadow of a doubt that it was angry, right? Like someone did we ever get an EVP saying I'm angry? Like, no.
Yeah. Well, no, actually, no. I don't even think I've ever gotten an EVP with somebody saying they're mad.
No, because usually, I don't do it all the time, but I do ask on investigations. I kind of say, what are you feeling? Like, are you sad? Are you happy? Are you, whatever. And anger is just another emotion. But, once we cross over, do we still feel emotion at all? Like, where does this anger come from?
Well, I mean, anger is a very strong energy, so does it dissipate or not? We don't know, because if energy doesn't dissipate or change, well, it changes, not necessarily dissipates. So if anger carries on, then does it carry on with the individual, or is it floating around there and somebody just latches onto it, becomes angry? I don't know.
And I'm just picturing these little balloons floating through the air, and it's got anger written on it.
Pop! Oh, God damn it!
Now I'm angry.
Arg, arg.
Where's a happy balloon?
Well, I want it. There's a happy balloon. There's a happy balloon. Happy. Couldn't resist that one. I want to go back to the other one, the second one now for a second with the client. There was something that I ran into a long time ago, um, and it it hasn't affected too many investigations, but it is something I have found that I do have to ask, unless it's obvious. But it sometimes it's not even obvious. Drugs.
Yeah, yeah, because there's so much drug use out there that you almost have to assume that there is drug use involved.
Well, yeah, maybe sometimes, yes. Yeah, I could see that. I mean, I, I got an example again, really quick. We were doing an investigation with a client. Now they were if I remember correctly, they were an East Indian client, which was rare enough. And they were absolutely convinced that they were cursed. Now I won't get into it all, but I was talking to the guy, and the guy really was a little apprehensive about answering certain questions. He always seemed a little taken back by certain things. He didn't. He was quiet and whatnot. Um, but I managed to make a connection with him because I had asked, and I said, "Well, are there any drugs involved? Like, I mean, illicit drugs?" And he kind of looked at me and hummed and hawed. I said, "Okay, so obviously there are." I said, "Can I ask what?" I said, "Listen, I said I'm an ex-addict. I know most of them. You're not going to surprise me." And he turned around and he said, "Cocaine." And I said, "The powder or crack?" And he goes, "Crack." And I went, "Okay." I said, I can understand that." And he looked at me and almost like a questioning look. And I said, "Dude," I said, I told you I'm a recovered addict. That's what I finished one was crack." I said, "I know exactly where you're coming from." And at that point, you could see him almost like the tension just came out of him a little bit, and it allowed him to connect a little bit better. It was one of those rare incidences where it just matched, from somebody that's currently involved to somebody that used to be involved. And it was rather unique. And we were actually able to get a little more out and a little more help the clients a little bit more, although they helped themselves more than we did. But I almost always do ask. If I think there's a reason to ask, I will ask. And I mean, have you ever been to a place where the drugs have actually, you walk in, you're like, "Oh, they just smoked a good one."
Yes, yes.
And did you leave?
No,
Hmm.
no.
See, that's where I would have drawn the line. I would have
Yeah,
said, "You smoked it. We're done. We're gone. See ya. Bye.
yeah,
You want us back? Do it when you're sober."
yeah. I think the reason I did that on the one I'm thinking of is because it was an apartment building, so I couldn't legitimately say it was necessarily coming from their apartment. I mean,
Oh, okay.
the whole building smelled like it. So
Grow up upstairs.
yeah, I don't want to shed any more bad light on Chilliwack, but it was in Chilliwack.
I like. Well, this is what Kay just wrote.
I always pay attention to the surroundings. Is there any drug paraphernalia, weapons, alcohol, bottles, etc., etc.? Look for the clues. Yeah, absolutely, Kay. This particular one I'm talking about, where we could smell the marijuana use. There was a weapon seen midway through the investigation, as well as sex toys.
We've had that. I wasn't going to go there, but we've had that happen, Mike. Thank you for going there.
So, yeah, at that point, that's when we kind of were just like, yeah, we need to wrap this one up. Seeing a knife out is just not like, and not just your kitchen knife. It was like a 6-inch blade. Like, it was a huge knife.
It was one of those goes, "That's not a knife. That's a knife."
Yeah, exactly. So, and I was on the investigation. I was with Carla, who's no longer with the NPI now, but for her to be afraid, I was like, okay, if you're afraid, I'm afraid.
Oh, yeah, I can see that. I can see that. I mean, yeah, if she, yeah,
Yeah.
I would be in front of her going out the door.
Yes.
You're my protection. You stay there.
So she was like, yeah, we need to go. I'm like, okay, we do. You're right.
But anyway, so drugs, folks. That is one that, I mean, I do ask, and I try to get my guys that if they feel they have to ask, if there's a reason why they should ask. Right? If a client's going to be that hidden, then who knows what else they're not telling you.
Exactly.
On to the next.
On to the next. I'm just unlocking my device here, which is now down to 4%. So I better memorize these these other ones.
Okay, what have we got? I'll try to remember them with you.
Okay, so we got next one is well, it's kind of along the same lines where we're talking was unsafe clients.
Yeah, the unsafe clients, I mean, that's a given. I mean, if you I don't care who the client is, I don't care where they are. But if you get into a place or even are approaching a place and you go, no, there's just no bloody way. You know what? I would be the first to say, you don't feel comfortable, we're out, we're done. And I would phone up saying, I'm sorry, we had to cancel this. We'll get a hold of you soon. And I would go back and I would tell the client, or I would visit again during a daytime with multiple people. Yeah, I mean, if it's that uncomfortable, though, if you get into a place and you feel it's dangerous, you tell your lead investigator, you tell the person in charge, and you know what? It be shut down. That's as simple as that. I will not have any team member ever in jeopardy. Period.
Yeah, I can't say anything better than that.
Yeah,
you hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
Next one that was without opening up the tablet was unsafe buildings.
Well, yeah, there is that. Not
necessarily from a standpoint of like, the one where I was in, where it was obviously marijuana usage in the building, was that kind of thing. I'm thinking more along the lines of buildings that are falling apart, where you could go through the floor, that kind of thing. I mean, we do work in some old buildings, so True. You do have to be aware of that, your surroundings.
Which brings up another point. If you're actually going to be aware, if you want to be aware of surroundings in a building like this or in anything like that, or anywhere you go, really, the first of all, a prelim is always nice to do because usually it's done during the day.
Yes.
All right. That gives you a chance to look around and check things out. A client, again, this falls back on the client or the owner or historical people or whoever you are to tell you that these are the areas that are either off limits or that you have to avoid. I mean, there's always that infamous story about the guy walking down the hall, sees the hole, lifts up the friggin' board to place it over the hole, and falls through the hole that the board was covering in the first place.
Yeah.
I mean, it has happened. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, I guess it comes back to partially the client and partially our responsibility to look through everything and make sure they know. I mean, as an investigator, it doesn't matter whether you're the lead or whether you're just the one person at the bottom line. You should know where your exits are. You should know where all the dangers are as much as you can. You should know where your fire extinguishers are if they have them. And literally, you should know the general concepts of safety. I mean, if you know that, you can get yourself usually out of any situation. But there are accidents that, knock on wood, there are accidents that do happen. I don't think there's been too many of my guys that have ever had any injuries yet, really. Nothing major anyway. But yeah,
usually just like any picture yourself in a dark room, and it almost always happens. You're gonna like walk into something and your shins always take the brunt of it. Right? Like you think you're in a say you're in an old theater or something, and lights are shut off, and all of a sudden, bang! You walk into a chair or something. It happens. It totally happens.
And the worst part about that is you got to sit there going, Snickers, snack, freaking yeah. No. And the client's sitting there going, are you all right? Yep.
And that's when you're going to get a really good EVP too.
Somebody's going,
exactly. You're going to get an evil laugh.
I put that there.
Told you to look out for it. Didn't you hear me? No, I didn't hear you.
Oh my
speak louder. Yeah, I mean, we do work in some really old buildings though, and it's just like you said, it's in our best interest to be aware of what's what, right?
Yeah, and honestly, I can tell you, if you're ever going up to an addict, that's me.
Not addict.
If you ever go up into an attic or into a basement, first thing I suggest you do is look over your head. Because when people put nails and they stick through, oh my flipping God, they hurt. And they hurt badly. So, oh yeah, and then Kay has this one, of course.
Remember we were in one place, Darryl, where we were told there was a bear lurking, and another where there were rattlesnakes. Yes, I remember the one with the bear because I was there too.
Yeah.
And I was actually, because that was my second ever investigation. And I was, we're told that there's a bear in the area, and I'm going, okay, and how far is it that we have to walk? I don't know if I could run that far.
Well, you see, that's the concept with the bears, Mike. You only have to be faster than the slowest person.
I was the slowest person. Guaranteed.
Well, then, would you like me to tie a stake to your ass, too? He's got the stake, bear. There you go.
yeah. Shout it out that he's got the stake, because the bear knows the difference, right? The bear's going, oh, he's got the stake. Okay, my bad. I'm sorry.
Actually,
I'll go get him instead.
Well, Kay said, "Oh no, this was another one, Mike." But yes, that one too.
Yeah,
so
okay.
I guess Kay seems to be the one that attracts the bears.
Well, see, where Kay lives, bears are normal though. Like, we do most of ours in the city. The bears stay out of the city.
What would she do if we found a bear and put or found a cow and put a bear's face on it?
or even a clown's face on the cow.
Sorry, Kay, we're picking on you. Oh my God. Oh dear.
See, that's another thing about team building, is knowing each other's fears. Like, so if you know that Kay's afraid of bears and clowns and what is it? Bears, clowns, and cows. But it's knowing people's fears.
I don't know if she's afraid of bears, but I know she's afraid of cows anyway. I didn't know she was afraid of clowns.
Yeah, clowns too. Yeah. She does.
Okay, clowns and cows. Well, you're right though. Fears. I mean, I don't like spiders. I mean, I don't. Whoops. What happened, Mike? Did I lose you? Uh-oh. I lost Mike. I don't know how I lost Mike, but I lost Mike. How did I lose Mike? Uh-oh. We'll have to wait until we see if Mike comes back on, because I think I just lost Mike. I have no idea where he is. Oh, there he is. Hang on.
The wrong button.
Oh, hello. All right, we got you back.
Sorry about that.
He's gone.
Did you miss me?
Oh my God, I got 30 minutes left.
Did you miss me?
I did.
I pressed leave by like right there. There's the button. Those that are watching on YouTube are like, "There's no leave button," but on my screen there's a leave button, and I pressed it. I was trying to read the comments. I'm sorry.
That's all right. It just clowns and cows, and then he says, "Mike's gone. His power went."
No, I still got power. I don't know if you can hear my because we have the new boiler, and it's really like it makes weird sounds.
I
It's like
hear
we
it.
got
It sounds like I thought I had constant ringing in my ears, but it's your
yeah,
boiler.
it's like a high pitched sort of whining sound.
Really? What is that? Was it like that at the old boiler?
No,
Oh, you have a weird boiler, man.
I I know. But I'm really close to it as well. Like I'm like literally like 6 feet away from it.
Well, that's all right.
Yeah.
We'll accept that. Kay
Yeah.
goes, I'm thinking, oh crap, he's gone to ask me, what the heck?
Okay, what? I'm thinking, oh crap, he's going to ask me. I'm in bed.
I have no idea, Kay.
Okay. I get. She's thinking that I had something happened to my ability to join you, so she's gonna be asked by you to join and take over for me.
Oh,
But she's in bed and she doesn't want to do it. I get it now.
I see this little frilly blanket, like, hello. Well, that I would have to say that, yeah. So, how did we get into critters? Right, critters. I think most of the critters I can handle, but I mean, there was one place that we were told there was a brown recluse infestation. Yeah, you wouldn't get me in that room. No, no, I wouldn't even go where the friggin' Black Widow was. Nope, and no.
Yeah, that's again, it comes down to the team safety thing, right? Like if you know that there's venomous spiders, and I know Kay seems to think we're a bunch of wussies because they're cute little 8-legged fuzzy bunnies, but they're not, and I don't like them, and that's a whole safety thing for me. Like, even this summer when we were all together, and there was there was bees, right?
Bees is another one.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't afraid, but I've also never been stung by a bee, so I don't know if I'm allergic to them. Right, so it's just something to be aware of. Like I say something, I go, just a heads up, like I am not sure if I've ever been stung or if I'm allergic to them.
So should we just take a bee, capture it, and take you to the hospital and then let it sting you? He's good. He's good. Don't worry about it.
No. Okay, yeah, you could do that as long as I can put you into like a room and go, okay, you can possess him for like 5 minutes, and then we'll take him over to the church and get him, exercised.
Holly said agreed. Might ex-nay on the arachnids.
Yeah.
Kay wrote that. I was actually worried at one location for you, Darryl, because I know you are allergic to horses, and there was a barn with horse tack. Yeah, you are right, Kane. That is one of my concerns too for any member, really. I mean, I'm not just highly allergic to horsehair. I mean, horsehair has put me in the hospital twice. It's not really the horse's hair; it's the oil on the dander, right, from the horse. Now, both times I ended up in the hospital because my eye swelled up to the point where I couldn't see. When I was tested for horse, being allergic to horses, basically they gave me like a potent version of it. I was on the ground. I couldn't talk. I couldn't walk. I couldn't breathe. It was terrible. So yeah, I am deadly allergic to horses. So there you go. So yeah, but I will still go into a barn as long as there's not any horses like right in the barn. I'm probably okay, but I usually know fairly quickly and I can get out before anything. It's not like one of those, it's not like I need one of those, blue to the sky, orange to the thigh type of little needle things. But
yeah, I'm quite familiar with them.
Yeah, but so yeah, I would say people actually, dealing with that. You have to be aware of who has allergies and who doesn't. Absolutely. So yeah, I agree 100% on that one.
I mean, hang on a second. I'm gonna turn on something bright here.
You say you're turning on something gray?
No, something bright. There we go.
Oh, wow.
Is that better? Is that better? Can you see me now?
I could see you before, but you're right. You're now brighter.
Well, because I have a light. It's like right here. You know, this is
It's like one of
riveting,
these things that's
riveting
like over there.
YouTubing right here. I have a light right here. Anyways, it burned out. It died. So I like my son's computer is right here, so I could just go on Google and just put on the bright white screen and it's a light. I don't need this light anymore.
There you go.
And, you know, that's another thing about safety is people's allergies, right? We kind of have to know each other's allergies. Like we know that you are allergic to horses. I mean, I'm allergic to horses.
Are you?
Yeah, I am.
Oh.
Kay has an emergency medical list with her team's medical condition. Yeah, and when Amy and I had a team together, we also had the same thing. We knew each other's allergies and had emergency contacts and all that kind of stuff too. It just made sense. But yes, I am allergic to horses as well. So we share something there.
It is actually something I don't have, is I don't have emergency contacts for everybody because I figured more than likely if something happens, I'll phone an ambulance and then I'll just pull your wallet out or pull your purse out. And I'll have the emergency contacts right there, right? I mean, I guess I never thought about that, but you're right. I should have that.
Yeah, I mean, I have weird food allergies, but that's, you know, we don't really eat on investigation, so.
All these had friends.
Yeah.
You have food allergies?
Yes, I do. Yes.
Not bad ones though?
Nothing's too serious, no.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, probably the biggest and funniest one is when I eat watermelon because I'm allergic to watermelon.
Okay.
Yeah, I lose my voice. I actually start to sound like Barry White. True. I kid you not, it's dead true. My voice gets really deep. Like I can't even pretend to sound like it. Like it's super deep. And then like I had friends phoning me and going, Mike, say something. And I'd be like,
I can see it in the investigation now.
I'm like, can't get enough of your love, baby.
Oh my God. Oh, Lord. Oh God. Oh man.
So yeah, if we're doing like a potluck or something, don't let me eat watermelon. Not even for a party trick. It's an anaphylactic thing, so don't do it.
Okay, we will not give Barry his watermelon.
But to go back on the horse thing, yes, I was actually on an investigation. We were in a barn, and there was horses there. And I had to take an allergy pill before we did the investigation because I knew there was going to be horses there. And anyways, during the investigation, I even said, I talked to the horses, right? Because they're intelligent animals. They just can't speak. I said to one of the horses, I said, is there a ghost here? I'm not kidding you, by the way. This is dead serious. I said, is there a ghost here? And the horse actually went like this. And I said, there it is. We have proof.
I thought for a minute you were going to say, nay. Oh, my Lord. That is hilarious. That is hilarious. Wow. Ollie says, eat some watermelon for us.
No, Ollie. I can't do it. I can't. No.
She said Dr. Doolittle.
See, I am multi-talented.
There we go. Wow.
It's really thinking outside the box if you think about it when you ask an animal if there's a ghost here.
Well, that is true. That is very true.
Especially if you're on a farm. Right? I mean, the client said that the barn was haunted. So like I don't remember the details exactly, but there was something along the lines of the horses were always getting spooked in the middle of the night by something. So I said, is there a ghost here? And the horse nodded its head.
Well, had there been horses in the barn, I wouldn't have been able to go near it. So you're luckier than I am. You can still go into the barn.
Yes.
I could not. I could not. So it's almost that time of the night again, Mike. I mean, it's gone by really fast. Anything else we want to touch on right now as far as all that list went? I know your computer's dead, so.
Yeah, this thing is bit the bit. Oh, by the way, that's my tablet. Nice. Yeah, no, it's I can't remember the rest on the list now. I think there was something along the lines of um, yeah, just. But I think the last thing was how does the team get out of a tricky situation?
Well, I mean, I like usually personally just getting up and using my 2 feet, and, you know,
I usually see your 2 feet. The other times you're just floating.
that's right. It's just slip right up. Now, I would say most of the time, I mean, there are ways to leave an investigation, get out of it without being, really nasty or mean about it in any way, shape, or form. Which, I mean, you've said yourself one way, but there are times where you just got to say, okay, no, we're done, we're out. And people say, why? Say, you know what, I'll give you a call tomorrow. I'll explain it further tomorrow. At this point in time, I just got to get my team out. There's reasons I care not to discuss at this point in time, and you just go. If it's due to client, that is okay. If it's due to activity, that's different. I mean, because hey, Amy, happy Mexico. You're about an hour behind us there.
You got some watching to do, girl.
Yeah, you got some watching to do. But I would say, if it's activity wise, then um, you know, I would say you have to really stick it out, because it's hard to leave a client sitting there going, what am I supposed to do now? You know? Um, so I'm not one to walk out because of activity. But if there is other reasons, and living reasons, then yeah, you do your best to leave, as nicely as you possibly can, and get yourself out. But if you have no choice but to just say, you know what, we're done, get all your stuff up, pack up, get out, and then when he, she, or whoever asks, you know what, why, what's going on, once all your stuff is packed and safe in your vehicles, just say, my team is done. Sorry, we're not staying. I mean, I'll contact you later, explain it more, but we're done, and then just leave. I mean, it can happen, but it's rare. I think most clients just want help, and most of the time things go really smoothly. So
Yeah,
that's about it.
yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Yeah. Amy said, "Ugh, I totally missed most of the show."
Amy, the great thing about this is it's on YouTube, so you can go back and watch it, and you can pause it. You can go to the bathroom. Like, I can't go to the bathroom at all, so you don't want me to, anyways. Like, and I really don't think my son wants me to, because it's his room.
No, that could be. Yeah, he doesn't want to sleep in that. But folks, and Nikki, welcome aboard. Sorry, guys, but you'll have to go back and watch it. It is actually 8:58. So literally, we're at the end of the show. But Amy, just to let you know, we did discuss one of your ideas that was given to us, multiple ideas that were given to us. So you might enjoy going back and listening to this one and having a listen to it. But I think, what do you think, Mike? I think we're pretty well almost at the end, aren't we?
I think we are. It's 8:59.
Yeah,
pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it went fast.
Even though I vanished for like 30 seconds, I do apologize to those of you that thought I fell off the earth. The earth actually is not flat. It is round, so you can't fall off of it. Although, okay, we got 1 minute. I got to tell you this. Technically, the earth is flat. Do you know how that is? The earth is 70% water and isn't carbonated. Therefore, it's technically flat.
Oh my flipping God. That's terrible. That is absolutely terrible. Oh my God. On that note, folks,
Speaking of the Earth, this one is flat.
he's got flat. On that note, folks, we're at the end of our show. We'd like to thank you all for joining us. And Amy, Nikki, go on back, have a listen. This one's been a lot of fun. And some great stuff has been discussed. And we're always looking for more ideas. We'll be back again next Friday. So on behalf of myself, Darryl, and
Myself, Mike, and just so you know, next Friday is a special episode because it's this guy's birthday.
oh my Lord. Well then, we'll have to come up with a good conversation about that one. Birthday ghosts. We'll see. All right, guys. For both of us, we want to thank you all again for joining us on Off the Cuff. And you know what? Have an awesome night. Good night, folks.
Good night, everybody.